Mia Farrow grew up to be a huge star and actress of the 1970s. She is still known today as a legendary actress as well as a human rights activist. Mia would star in numerous films throughout her career, but was most widely known for her role in the film Rosemary's Baby, which was a psychological horror film that would kick her into superstardom. Due to her success, many eyes were on Mia as well as her acting career, but it wasn't only her movies that people were heavily focused on, but also very much her personal life. The intimate details of her romantic relationships were very closely followed by the media. One of those relationships was with the very well-known director Woody Allen. This relationship would lead to an incredibly crazy story that is like any other and is still discussed to this day. Here is the story of actress Mia Farrow. Before we get started, please do not forget to subscribe and at least flirt with that like button before hitting it. Thanks for watching and enjoy. Mia Farrow was born in Los Angeles, California on February 9th of 1945. Mia grew up in a household that was very busy and loud. She was the third baby born out of 7 children altogether. Her parents were very well off and successful. Her father was a director and writer by the name of John Farrow, and her mother, Maureen O'Sullivan, was a well-known actress. So, it was only natural that Mia wanted to follow in her footsteps and learn acting at a young age. Mia would actually begin by primarily modeling and then slowly would lean in more towards acting. She continued doing a combination of modeling and acting into her teenage years. In 1959, Mia received her very first official role or job, which was given to her by her father. He was working on a film called John Paul Jones, which was to be filmed in Spain. Although the role was minor, it was notable as it gave Mia the experience she needed and a glimpse into what it was like filming on set. Most importantly, it allowed Mia extra time to spend with her father and get closer to him. Living in a house full of 7 children meant that the children were always vying for their parents' attention. This project would be an important memory for her because in 1963, only a couple of years after filming, her father would sadly pass away from a heart attack at the age of only 58 years old. The family was shocked, grief-stricken, and most of all, heartbroken. Mia's mother was now a single mother of 7. She was trying to learn and navigate managing the family all on her own while still very much mourning this huge loss. She decided right away that she wanted to get out of California, so she packed the family up and moved them to New York City. Mia was a teenager by this time and would continue on with her acting and modeling. Within only a couple of months of her arrival, Mia booked her very first job and landed herself a role in a Broadway play called The Importance of Being Earnest. By 1964, she would receive her first big role in a very popular primetime television show called Peyton Place, where she played teenage Allison Mackenzie. The show was a huge success, and Mia stayed on the show for about 2 years. Once Peyton Place wrapped up, Mia was offered her first role on the big screen and starred in the film Guns of Patassi. Luckily for Mia, the work she was receiving was always constant, and it never slowed down. Around this time, her success began picking up more and more, and she started finding herself hanging around some very important and successful people she had only ever heard about or seen on television. By the time she was 19, Mia found herself filming on the 20th Century Fox lot. It was during this time that she would bump into the legendary Frank Sinatra, who happened to be filming a separate movie at the same time. Mia was only 19 at this time and Frank was 50 years old. Regardless of the age gap, the two hit it off right away and began seeing each other all the time. They officially became a couple and dated for 2 years. By 1966, the couple would officially tie the knot and get married. Everything seemed good for a while until, unfortunately, it fell apart. It is no secret that Mr. Sinatra really liked women, and he was not always faithful. This led to a lot of accusations, arguments, and ultimately led to a divorce in 1968. Following her short-lived marriage to Sinatra, she decided that she would throw herself back into work and just fully focus on her career. Her focus and hard work paid off because that same year in 1966, Mia would begin filming her most important role to date in the horror classic Rosemary's Baby. Following the huge success of this movie, Mia found herself being in high demand. She was offered jobs left and right, starring in a number of films like Secret Company, John and Mary, and The Great Gatsby. During the early 70s, her work signified significantly slowed down because in 1971 she met her second husband, Andre Previn, and Andre was a pianist as well as a composer. By this time in her life, Mia really craved having a family of her own and had a huge desire to become a mother. She was ready for children, and when she met Andre, she got everything she had always wanted. Andre and Mia decided to start their family with adoption and would add 3 little girls to their family. In addition, the couple would end up having 3 biological children together, which were all boys. So altogether, they had 3 girls and 3 boys, meaning they definitely had their hands full with 6 children altogether. The couple did have a happy and healthy relationship, but eventually the two did grow apart, and they ended up divorcing 9 years later in 1979. Once again, Mia's divorced, and to distract herself, she threw herself back into her work. At this time, Mia planned to star in a film called Midsummer Night's Dream, which was to be directed by Woody Allen. If you are not familiar, Woody is a very well-known and praised director in Hollywood, with a couple of Oscars for his work during the 70s, including his work on the film Annie Hall as well as Manhattan. For Mia, getting to work with Woody Allen was a big deal, and she was honored to be working on this film alongside him. Once filming began, it became very clear very quickly that Mia and Woody seemed to be awfully close, and to those that surrounded them, they were really enjoying each other's company. It seemed more than friendly. Their interactions seemed to be on a more intimate level. Eventually, they admitted to everyone that they were together and dating. Surprisingly and ironically, the two never married despite being together for 12 years, which is not a big deal at all. Some people choose not to legally marry, and that is fine. We love that, to each their own. However, for this couple specifically, they seem to have a strange relationship. The couple would adopt 2 children together, 2 boys named Dylan and Moses, and then they also had a biological child together, a boy named Ronan. So by this time, Mia has a total of 9, 10 kids, but who's counting? I'm certainly not. Some also found it strange that Mia and Woody never lived together in the same home. They stayed in separate apartments, and again, I will say, live your life how you want to live it. I'm just not sure how that dynamic worked, because it sounds really difficult when you have a newborn and you're raising all these children together. It sounds tough. The arrangement could work for some, but usually this would be a mutual decision made by a couple, by both people. But in this case, it was only Woody who wanted to live this way. Many, it seemed that he was just being selfish and he did not want to take on the responsibilities that came with having children, leaving Mia to take on all the responsibility. Both Mia and Woody would continue with their careers throughout their relationship, working side by side. Mia would star in a total of 13 movies, all directed by Woody himself. Seemingly from the outside, the two appeared to be very close. The relationship appeared to be one that was happy, healthy. However, as you know, you can never really tell how a relationship is or how it operates unless you're in it yourself. This relationship was far from happy or healthy. It was a mess. It has been said that Mia mostly handled the children and that Woody did very little to help out. This also probably explains why Woody was so keen on living in a separate apartment away from his family. Woody was also never involved in the adoption process for his 2 adopted children, so yeah, overall, he was not an involved father or companion. It may be that Mia was okay with doing things on her own, but you would think Woody would want to be there for these big milestones, but he just wasn't. By the time the 90s rolled around, the kids are older, some are teenagers and some are adults, but all of them are sitting front row watching this relationship crack and seeing its flaws up close. This not only includes the kids that Mia and Woody shared together, but it also includes all 6 children from Mia's previous marriage. But in only a matter of time, everything would come crashing down and dark family secrets would come out into the light. Their son Ronan, who was the one biological child that Woody and Mia shared, was now a teenager. One day, Ronan decides to go and visit his father at his apartment because, again, the couple lives separately, so this is something that's pretty normal for Ronan. Ronan lets himself in through the front door and is waiting for his father when something catches his attention. A stack of photos sitting on a table. Ronan had no intention of snooping on his father. The photos just caught his attention and he naturally wanted to look at them. As he walks towards the photos, he starts to realize that the photos are explicit and inappropriate in nature. At this point, Ronan, he's in too deep and he has to know what these photos are all about. When he's looking through the stack of photos, Ronan notices a girl, the same girl in every photo, who appears to be much younger than his father, and it's all fun and games until he realizes that the girl in the photos is actually his little sister. I'm gonna let that settle in for a moment and marinate, because for anyone, it would be very traumatizing to see any member of your family in this manner. So, the girl in the photos is one of Ronan's little sisters named Soon Yi, who came from Mia's second marriage. She was one of the 3 little girls that Mia had adopted from Vietnam. So this whole time, Mia's husband Woody has been having an inappropriate relationship with his own stepdaughter. At the time this was discovered, Woody was around 50 years old, and Soon Yi was somewhere around 20 years old. Her actual age is unknown due to the fact that she was adopted and because of errors and mishandling of her paperwork, so we do not know if she was actually underage. Regardless, it is still highly inappropriate and morally wrong for him to do this, not only to his wife and daughter, but to his whole family. Woody never saw those children as his own or respected their boundaries. He took advantage of this young girl, whom he essentially promised to help raise and look after. Anyway, I don't need to explain how and why this is wrong, it just blows my mind completely, and it is extremely hard to wrap your head around. This was especially hard for Mia. Finding out your husband is not only cheating, but cheating with your own daughter. It sounds like a Lifetime movie, but unfortunately, it was very much real life for this family. Luckily, their son Ronan did the right thing. After discovering the photos, he took them straight to his mother so that she knew what was going on. Mia, she immediately filed for divorce and ended all communication with Woody. Instead of Woody showing any remorse, he instead attempted to gain custody of their 3 children. On top of that, he announced publicly that he was now dating Soon Yi with no shame whatsoever. This is when the media circus begins and accusations are flying left and right. Now claims are being made against Woody from another child in the family, which added a whole additional layer to the story. In an attempt to do damage control, Woody decided to hold a press conference to try and shut these rumors down. Shortly after, Mia released a full spread story in an issue of Vanity Fair releasing her side of the story. The next part may anger you, but formal charges were never made against Woody Allen, which is really unfortunate how he essentially just got away with it. However, on the brighter side of things, Mia did gain full custody of the children. This story is one example out of many that exposes celebrities or others that got away with something to this degree for many years. Mia Farrow would go on to adopt 6 more children between the years of 1992 and 1995. That gives us a grand total of 14 kids altogether, and yes, I did look that up because I did not feel like counting anymore. So you have a really tragic story here that I hope has since healed, but it is also one that you really don't hear every day. Mia is now 78 years old and mostly enjoys spending time with her children and her 16 grandkids. That is going to be it for me today. Thanks for watching. Please do not forget to subscribe and like, and I will see you next time. Ciao.